Hey team, another rundown, day 3 of this August 1 month running challenge. I do a mile a day, or at least a mile a day, that's the idea. Today went quite well, still not feeling great, so it was tough. But then I found on the loop that I do, there's a slight incline, sort of on both sides. So I usually run up one and then it's almost like a little bit of a, I'll say rest, coming down the other side before I do it again. But then I found running up that hill, or the little incline, was really affecting my chest today. So I tried to avoid it a bit by sort of zigzagging through the estate. So yeah, all good. Managed to do it. Actually started feeling quite good in the second half. That's positive. Calves are burning like a mother. It's just, yeah, they're really tight right now, so I need to do some serious stretching on those. Just so you know, for any beginners out there, like me, you don't really like running or trying out running, you are going to get some serious calf pain. So just be aware of that. And when you do start your running, probably alternate the days. Try and give yourself a day off in between if you can. Obviously, I'm doing a certain challenge right now, so I'm planning on just pushing through it. That's fine. But generally speaking, if you're starting out, just focus on taking that day in between to allow the legs sort of to rest and recover, allow your feet, ankles, everything, just to sort of just to say what the actual, in the hope that you don't sort of overdo it. And then again, that can lead to demotivation, because you'll find that if you're in pain or you're not really recovering well, you've got a serious case of DOMS, which is your delayed onset muscle soreness, it can be a factor and become a barrier, which is why a lot of people stop. It's because they feel this sort of pain. They think, oh, I don't like it, it's hard work, it's causing me pain, I'm just going to stop. So give yourself time. Like I say, research, Google if you need to, and other search engines are available. Some little mobility and stretch routines, because that can be really good for helping pre and post run or workout, and sort of just ensure that you do recover well. Hydrate, it's important. You've got to stay hydrated. That helps to sort of flush the muscles as well. And then look at what you're eating. If again your diet is still very heavily carbohydrate based, it's not going to give you the recovery for the muscles in the way that proteins do, which is why people bang on a lot about proteins. All the different macros, micros, they all play a vital part in how the body functions. So please, you know, try not to overconsume one, keep a balance of them all. So, did feel good. I bumped into an old client of mine yesterday. She came to see me, which was really nice. Is trying to convince me to sign up to a half marathon. I said, you are aware that I'm running like a mile a day, and you want me to do the best part of 13.5 miles. I was like, yeah, I'll have to think about that one. Apparently it's in October, so I haven't got long if I do want to sign up to that. But do you know what? I'm a broken man right now. I'm on day 3, like struggling to do a mile. To drag myself through sort of 13 is, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I might give it a go because I like a challenge. Like I say, when I ran the London Marathon over 2 decades ago. Makes me sound ancient. But what I found is I didn't actually train for that. So like I say, I've been in the fitness industry for a long time, so I get by on my general fitness through, you know, in my peak, before I sort of stepped back a bit from teaching, I used to teach anything from, I don't know, up to 30 classes a week. So I found that my general fitness was pretty good. And then as you sort of start winding that down, that's when you find that the body's like, what's going on? You've damaged yourself through all these years of jumping around, because everything I teach is pretty much high impact. I haven't got around to crossing over to the likes of yoga and sort of Les Mills body balance type, sort of Tai Chi sort of relaxation stretch. But I know that I need to do it. So yeah, so I relied on my general fitness to get me through. And it worked pretty well. I got round the whole marathon, only walked for a bit. And there's no shame in walking, let me be clear on that. It's about getting the job done. And what motivated me is like the crowds. If you've never done like a fun run, whether it's like just a 5K or anything fun run, and you've got like crowds who are cheering and clapping and giving you stuff on the side of the road. It's, I bumped into this guy. I remember he was struggling, and his wife had prepared him a plaque at home for his winner's medal. And when I met him, it must have been just over the halfway point, and he was really, really struggling. So when I got talking to him to sort of find out what his motivation was, and he says, well, I need to finish it because my wife is making me this plaque, And if I don't finish it, I don't get a medal. So I can't put the medal on the plaque. So it's got to go at home, and the wife will have this plaque and she'll be like, well, what the... So I said, right, let's run it together. So we ran the last, must have been at least 10 miles together. And I've got my finishing photo where we crossed the line at the same time. Never saw him after that, which is fine. But it's one of those where it's just finding that motivation and finding that reason to keep going. And despite the fact that we just felt like absolute rubbish and our bodies weren't feeling great, and your mind is telling you, do you know what, actually, it's just easier if we just stop. It's at that point you need to say to yourself, well, why am I doing it in the first place? What's motivated me to want to get started? Now, me taking on this, so I've got a plane going over, I think it's just dropped off a glider. The thing that got me going was the fact that I know that I'm not bothered about my body weight. I always say this to all my clients and stuff, is I don't train them for weight, I train them for strength and fitness, and your body weight will fluctuate because of that anyway. So what I then found is I am slightly heavier. I mean, I've always weighed about 100 kilos. And I'm fine with that. I can still function and do what I need to do. I've just always been that heavy. And even in my prime, if I'm lucky, I get down to about 95. But I realized that not teaching so much and not doing as many clients, not doing as much fitness of my own, that, my fitness was, if you don't use it, you lose it. So it was sort of failing a little bit. So I thought, let's get into running, because that's one thing that really challenges me. So instead of me just saying, all right, you can go to some dance classes, some body pump classes or something, things that I know I can do. Yes, I have to exert myself, but I can do it. A run is a challenge to me. And I don't know why I'm a bit of a fool. I like to just say to myself, sod it. Throw yourself in the deep end and do the thing you hate the most. And if you can learn to love that, then the other stuff is just stuff on the side. So I wanted to get a bit more in shape in terms of my fitness and overall body conditioning, because I've always wanted to. It's just motivating myself to do it. That's the trouble. Teaching is an easy in for me because I get fit and I train and I get paid. But to then do my own fitness, God, that's a whole nother level. So that's where I probably need my own PT, So the run is done. I've waffled at you for a little while, so thank you very much for listening. But hopefully on your journey, whatever you're doing, it's going really, really well. Remember, if you are taking up the challenge of running, really, really key points is pace yourself. Like I said before, really set that pace. Start off slow. It can be just above your walking pace if it needs to, just to get the body used to the impact. Make sure you've got a decent pair of shoes, or at least a comfortable, not cheap pair of shoes. Don't go running out there in your $5.99 shoe zones. Get yourself some decent shoes that are going to actually give you support and help you on your journey. And then make sure you are eating a balanced diet, because that is going to help with your energy levels. It's going to help with your recovery. It's just really, really important to not worry about any individual macro unless you find that you are missing them. But just keep it balanced and find something that works for you in the early stages, and then you can always tweak it later down the line. The biggest thing is don't try and change too much too soon. I've said this in another thing as well. Change one thing at a time. If you're going to start doing the running, then just start with the running, and then you can focus on the food after. Your body is very well equipped to adapt to things that change in our lives. So it will almost guide you to the different foods that you should be eating if you are exerting yourself more. So don't stress too much. And that's about it. That's me, day 3. Not feeling great, but feeling better, feeling positive, and just hoping that, like I say, as I get past this first week, which tends to be quite a challenge for most people starting out. The first week is really just accepting the change and accepting the challenge. And then after that, you find you get into a bit of a rhythm. So that's where I'm at. Just trying to stay with that focus and stay with that rhythm. So again, hit me up in the comments, hit me up with your motivation. If you're doing anything, you want some hints and tips that I can try and offer some guidance on, or even if you just want to have a chat, seriously, don't be a stranger. So have a great day, and I will report back on day 4. Peace.